Salutations and greetings, EgoHackers. My name is Ben, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be discussing the ENFJ personality archetype, also known as the Cleric. ENFJs are compassionate, self-sacrificing leaders who are propelled by their personal vision to inspire others. They seek to generate healing and build up other people through education and teaching. They're drawn to roles of teaching, mentorship, ministry, and coaching. ENFJs can express themselves in a variety of ways, from being proficient, hands-on tacticians who teach survival skills or fitness, to being educators, philosophers, or artists. ENFJs will find a way to make an impact. Some famous ENFJs include Martin Luther King Jr., Kelly Clarkson, Rob Lowe, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Rosario Dawson, and Nelson Mandela. As is true for all personality types, the ENFJ lies at the intersection between a specific interaction style and a specific temperament. They're a structure type in interaction style, meaning that they are direct, initiating, and outcome. Direct, meaning that they often have a commanding and even domineering presence. Being a structure type makes their directness often controlling and enforcing. They say what they mean, and they don't mince words. They are initiating, meaning that ENFJs don't wait around for people to come to them. In social gatherings, at work, or in the comfort of their own home, they go to others and start interactions and conversations. They are outcome, meaning that they're planners. They don't like disorder or leaving things to chance. Their NI parent perceives way out into their future and invests time in making the best possible plan before jumping into action. Let them plan out things before you pressure them into starting something. In terms of temperament, the ENFJ is part of the idealist or NF temperament, meaning that they are affiliative, interest-based, and abstract. Affiliative, meaning that ENFJs are all about doing what is socially acceptable and seeking harmony over conflict. They filter all their decisions through the lens of social acceptance. They are at a huge risk of letting social rules completely hijack their thinking. Finding an ENFJ who thinks for him or herself is rare indeed. They're interest-based, meaning that ENFJs look at opportunities through a cost-benefit analysis of who gets what. They're very aware of how much someone is getting out of something. Being naturally self-sacrificing, they will often shortchange themselves so that someone else gets more. But as long as there's enough to go around, their interest is usually satisfied. They are abstract, meaning that they approach the world through a what-if instead of a what-is perspective. They think in terms of possibilities, looking for the best way forward for themselves and for others. They are driven by bringing their visions to fruition. The ENFJ's cognitive functions are extroverted feeling hero, introverted intuition parent, extroverted sensing child, introverted thinking inferior, introverted feeling nemesis, extroverted intuition critic, introverted sensing trickster, and extroverted thinking demon. Starting with FE Hero. ENFJs lead with their powerful tool of empathic awareness and compassion. They're hyper-aware of how others feel and what others value. They feel the pain of others, and optimistically seek to relieve that pain by providing soothing comfort and healing to those who are in difficult places. ENFJs are always looking to extract emotion, appreciation, and gratitude from others. They're constantly looking for affirmation that they are helpful, kind, and selfless. ENFJs are one of the four types, the other three being the INFJ, ISTP, and ESTP, which we call mirrors. Being mirrors, ENFJs are reflections of the people they surround themselves with. Their FE hero naturally embodies the emotions, values, and philosophy of those around them. They are vessels that carry others' introverted feeling. NI parent. Introverted intuition is all about what I want. NI is a singular focus, like a laser that can cut through any obstacle to achieve its vision. Out of all the NI users, a well-developed NI parent is the most consistently precise and effective expression of introverted intuition. NI is constantly looking for possibilities for its own future, and the ENFJs accompanying any critic has high standards when it comes to weighing out different options, paths, careers, or lovers the ENFJ could pursue. But when an ENFJ locks onto a person, place, or thing, they will burn with desire until their passion is fulfilled. SE Child. SE Child constantly wants to make others comfortable. They want to provide not only relief, but excitement by creating unforgettable experiences shared with other people. ENFJs often neglect their own comfort to innocently give others a better experience. When it comes to romance, ENFJs tend to initiate intimacy. From dates to movies and to the bedroom, they want to lead. They are romantically fulfilled when their lover is reacting with their full attention to every experience shared and every touch given by their ENFJ. ENFJs are also naturally good performers. Whether it's athletics, arts, or other hobbies, ENFJs have a knack for edging out the competition and making a good show of whatever they pursue. TI inferior. ENFJs are very insecure about their own thinking. They're constantly worried that they're dumb, incapable thinkers, and poor problem solvers. This causes a lot of ENFJs to overcompensate by dominating conversations and talking constantly, as they're always trying to prove their smarts. Think of that iconic interaction between Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson. ENFJs who are stuck in their insecurity are very bad listeners, but there's a secret that all ENFJs can use to become smarter. More on that later. FI Nemesis. FI Nemesis causes the ENFJ to be constantly worried about their self-worth. They experience their emotions and values with worry, often unsure how to process feeling useless. The selflessness in ENFJs is especially caused by their FI Nemesis. They are so caring in part because they feel so worthless and useless. Being caring is how they try to compensate for their internal fear of being useless. FI Nemesis will not be happy until the ENFJ stops taking on other people's feelings without question. And FI Nemesis is trying to teach the ENFJ that sometimes the best way to help someone is not to make them immediately feel better about themselves. Any critic. Any critic makes the ENFJ very critical of other people's decisions and intentions. Whenever someone else decides on a career path, a school, a lover, or a hobby, the ENFJ often feels critical toward that decision. They're critical about other people's choices because the ENFJ themselves are so painstakingly careful about the decisions that they make. When they see, or project, carelessness into other people's decision-making and intentions, it makes them cynical and critical. Any critic can be utilized by the ENFJ to respect the fact that people need to learn from their decisions. Sometimes they should step in and be critical of others' choices, but other times it is better to let them stumble and learn how to walk on their own. SI Trickster. ENFJs are completely unaware of their personal experience. They have no internal source to perceive their internal sensations or any capacity for internal long-term memory. Their long-term memory is made possible only by having shared experiences with others and storing memories in external objects. They have to create totems to hold the memory of the places they've been, the people they've been with, and the things they've done. TE Demon. TE Demon is the basement that sits under the fragile floorboards of TI Inferior. If the ENFJ feels their TI inferior is not being listened to, or other people are regarding them as stupid, the TE demon might come from the basement to protect TI inferior. TE demon takes away everyone's voice. When it's activated, the ENFJ's perspective is as follows. If I don't get a voice, then no one gets a voice. TE demon also ravishes the reputation of others, and it will put other people down, often by social deprecation, to get others to listen to it. Be careful with the ENFJ's TI inferior and TE demon. They may look like compassionate angels, but, like all types, they have their demons too. With respect to the four sides of the mind, the ENFJ has ISTP subconscious, INFP unconscious or shadow, and ESTJ superego. A look at the ENFJ ego reveals the ENFJ's pathway to responsibility and maturity. An ENFJ's maturity and responsibility sit in direct proportion to how developed their NI parent is. Every type's parent function is that type's path to maturity. ENFJs must contemplate what is worth doing in life, and specifically direct their months, weeks, days, and even hours toward accomplishing what their NI parents' crosshairs are targeting. The ISTP subconscious reveals the ENFJ's path to happiness. Every type source of happiness is drawn from the development of their subconscious, specifically when the inferior function experiences the courage to combat its fear. When TI inferior aspires, the ENFJ finds happiness in teaching, whether it be in an official classroom, helping out friends repairing a car, or even demonstrating how a coworker should prepare their food. ENFJs aspire to become teachers of all kinds. One of the best ways to develop ISTP subconscious is not to seek to be the teacher, but a student. The best teachers are great because they have something to say and they've taken the time to hone their own skills. ISTP subconscious will only be capable if the ENFJ invests time in being a student, even teaching themselves new skills through determination and practice. INFP unconscious reveals the ENFJ's path to wisdom. INFP shadow can lead the ENFJ to a path of wisdom instead of the default state of the shadow, which is foolishness. INFP shadow becomes wise primarily through the development of FI nemesis and especially any critic. The ENFJ must learn that simply helping other people, particularly at the cost of neglecting themselves, does not make them a good person. They must learn to value themselves enough with FI nemesis and think more about what they value and the principles they should live by, instead of blindly accepting everyone else's morality in the hopes of being accepted by that person. Secondly, any critic has to learn to let people make bad choices and to see that the reason a lot of people make bad choices is not by intention. Their SC child is so aware of the immediate reactions of a choice, but their any critic is trying to show the ENFJ that most people need to be led and shown why there's a better choice available. Then and only then will the ENFJ become a wise teacher that can give people a better path instead of cynically dismissing others' hopes and choices. The ESTJ superego reveals the ENFJ's path to love. The superego is where our hate, bitterness, resentment, and repression are stored. ENFJs have a built-in bitterness for other people's good thoughts and reputations, and especially for the people who get listened to the most. T.E. Demon, the head of the ESTJ superego, thinks that everyone should listen to it. As the ENFJ develops their ESTJ superego over the course of their life, they slowly begin to understand the importance of listening, of patience, and of the rules and standards that contribute to learning and education. ESTJ superego will either destroy other people's minds through cruelty and the squashing of their voice, or it will uphold the most valuable standards and be a listening ear. ESTJ superego, if it lets go of its hate, becomes a disciplinarian that refines others' thinking to the point of brilliance and builds a path of learning that inspires the deepest passion in the students who follow that path. If you are unsure about your type, head over to www.uja.app, that is spelled UDJA, for our recently updated personality test with brand new vectors to help you find and confirm your type. The test is free. One of the hardest things for an ENFJ to learn is that their compassion is not always helpful. ENFJs have to search within themselves that they often believe that their compassion will warrant their appreciation, and they become entitled to others' appreciation and other people's listening ears. They want to be brilliant. They want to think of things that no one has ever thought of and want the whole world to listen to them. This is possible for the ENFJ. But it begins when they accept that maybe they don't know the answer. Maybe their intellectual tools are not as sharp as they want them to be, and especially perhaps they haven't read, researched, or listened enough to know anything about the topic. But the ENFJ can be bold and brilliant leaders who fight for the people who have been oppressed and left out of systems of education, government, or even rejected from their families. Their compassionate mentorship produces great minds and people of tremendous moral courage. Of the 4 structure types, the ENFJ leads humanity in social vision and ethical conviction. Think of Martin Luther King. There is a little bit of him in every single ENFJ. Help your ENFJ extract out that bold and brilliant part of themselves, and you have the world to thank you for it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment down below, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content.